I could only speak for myself. Like me, I had a good
Yep.
experience. I had a good experience.
Yeah.
If you want to hear if you want to hear like a crazy story, I guess I have a crazy story. I saw
Yeah.
this missionary. I saw this missionary. He yelling at he yelled at a member. He was like special needs too. Like he wasn't all the way there. You could tell like he had some type of disability, and like he blurts out. He had Tourette's or something. He just blurts out things sometimes. He wasn't all the way there. But he was a good, he's a good person. He's a good person. I talked to him. I talked. He's a good person inwardly, and outwardly. But he said something that's to his mama. I guess he said something to his mama. Sometimes he can't control it. He can't control it. He got a disability. He got Tourette's. He just yells things out. He can't control it. And the missionary is in his face, like, you don't ever talk to your mama. He like it's in his face, like pointing in his face, and said, "Do you want me to rebuke you?" Like crazy like that. I'm looking at my head like, this guy is like he has a special disability. Like he don't, like you got to understand where he's coming from. Like some things he can't control. And it's sometimes I think like leadership likes to like put that image out there too. Like let them know like I'm in charge type of stuff. It's like I saw leaders like rebuke other leaders. Like correct them. I say correct them. And then praise them after. It's like, it's but you don't experience that anywhere. Just
Yeah.
you experience good and bad anywhere. Church of God ain't different from any other place. Any other coast out there. It's like you're gonna see some messed up stuff.
So
but I'm glad nothing weird happened to me. I'm just glad because I even say too. Like I remember like when I'm working my way up, right, and then leaders are telling me stories like what they went through, right, and like what they experienced too. And I'm like, ain't no way you finna talk to me like that. Ain't no way like somebody's finna approach me and like do that to me. They're like, oh, when you get become a leader, like you have to just take it. You have to take it. I'm like nah, like I'm a man at the same time.
This is church, not the military.
Exactly. No, it's really military based too. Like the thing is to break you down to build you back up. No lie, that's what it is. They'll break you down, especially like when you come to like more of a higher. They'll break you down and they'll bring you back up. I heard that multiple times. Like really military stuff.
Yeah.
I heard it used to be worse back. It used to be worse like now. Or more loving, like they're trying to be more loving now, but like then it said it used to be way worse. Like 5 years when I was seeing things 10 years ago was way worse. 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I assume that they respond a lot to criticism when they see that they're being criticized for certain things. They start to change their practices in many ways, which is just I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you definitely see that playing out, and but it's like if you have the truth of God and you are the one true church with the true gospel, why do you have to basically be, reprimanded by the outside world about your behavior in order to change it? But I would be interested to see how intense it was, 10, 15, 20 years ago, because I would assume that they have tried to change and to adapt a little bit more to alleviate some of the criticisms they get. But along those lines, did you experience like either being taught directly or indirectly to not witness or evangelize to homeless, handicapped, homosexuals?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I hated too. Like, man, we talking about, because like I come from a rough neighborhood, this, and like I used to help the community. Like even now, like I see, like I see homeless men, like I don't want to brag, say too much, just like I help out, like I went to McDonald's. I see, he posts on the corner like, I got a burger for you, bro. Like here, like like they stand in front of a store, like you wants a little see. I buy a whole box of this for you. It's good. Like
Yeah.
Dollar Tree, like anything from Dollar Tree, 99-cent store. Man, come on, what you need? And they'll buy whatever. I got a limit. Don't go too crazy on me now. I got a limit. I got a family to feed too.
Yep.
But but much
Yeah.
if I'm capable, I'm able. If I got, I get. But yeah, like times I preach to homeless people, and then like leaders like, nah, we don't do that. Because you got to think about why they got there. Because they sin in that situation, and it's like anybody could be in that situation. Like the
Yep.
pandemic, lost jobs. The recession. Because I witnessed the recession. My dad lost his job. My dad was on borderline homeless. He lost his mind and everything. So, hardships in this world, because but they blame the sin we committed in heaven, of course.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I always wondered that how come
Ridiculous.
we don't really help out too much of the homeless. We do cleanups and
Yeah.
everything, but like just reading the Bible, you see Christ. He helped the homeless. People in
Yeah.
need. The lame, the disability. The unable. He helped those people,
Yeah.
and just I feel like that's where the
Well,
genuine love comes from. I feel like the love is not really genuine. Just
yes. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
I
think
I
about
wouldn't
this.
say.
Um, Matthew 25, where Jesus talks about separating the sheep from the goats, and the goats obviously go off to judgment, whatever that is, and the sheep are the ones who receive his blessing and favor. But in that, Jesus describes like why it is each group goes to their different destinations. Like why is it that the goats are goats? What makes goats goats, and what makes sheep sheep? What makes the goats unacceptable to God and out of his favor, and the sheep acceptable to him and in his favor? And so he says things like, I was in prison and you visited me. I
Mm,
was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. And that this whole list of reasons why these people were sheep and accepted by him is interesting to me. It has nothing to do with Sabbath keeping, has nothing to do with keeping Passover, has nothing to do with how much they were tithing, has nothing to do with how much they're going to church, has nothing to do with how much they were evangelizing. None of those things are even on the table in this distinction being made between the sheep and the goats. It's all of it comes down to their love. Whether or not these people had a genuine love, compassion, and care for the least of these, like the lowly in the world, those in need. It mentions those in prison, those who are sick, those who are naked, those who are hungry. And the sheep are kind of people who do what you just described. They have this actual real compassion in their hearts, where they care for those people. And it's the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the ones, look in the Gospel of John, and the Pharisees were the ones who saw like the blind man, the people who were born blind, and they said, oh, they're that
mm.
way because of their sin. It's because you were born in sin that you were born blind. That is the exact attitude and behavior of the Pharisees, the one who the WMSCOG condemns, people like me as being like that. But that's exactly what they're
That's
doing. The
crazy.
exact
That's
thing the
crazy.
Pharisees do.
That's crazy. Cause
Yeah.
like that's crazy. 'Cause my wife brought this up too. Cause my wife, she has a special needs brother too. He has autism, and so
Mm-hmm.
he has a couple more things too though. But he has a mind of a five. He has a child. He's like over 40 years old, and he have a mind of a child basically. But my wife thought about that too, and then like she thought because of the sin that he committed in heaven too, and she felt bad about it too. She's like, but you see it in the gospel said, the disciples asked Christ like, who sinned? Was it him or his parents? And then Christ said, this is for the glory of God. It
Yes.
wasn't nobody said it's for the glory of God. And you see Christ was able to heal that person to show the glory of God. So it wasn't because of Christ didn't say
Yeah.
because who sinned. It just God has a reason for everything. God's providence.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to God. Yeah,
That's a great point, and that's just a challenge to members, especially leaders who are promoting that and teaching, forbidding and restricting members from preaching to these groups of people. But the first thing is just Matthew 25. Like, that is a distinguishing factor between sheep and goats, and which one you are, according to Jesus, is how you are treating the homeless, the lowly, these groups of people who you specifically teach your members to ignore and to not preach to. And in doing so, though, you are displaying and teaching your members to display the exact behavior that, again, according to Jesus, makes goats goats. That verse in John is just it just so clearly contradicts that idea that these people are in their condition because of their sin. That, again, that's what the Pharisees taught. That's how they believed about these people. And Jesus very clearly said, no, they were not in this condition because of their own sin, but it's for the glory of God. And so, that's just, that's a red flag, a huge red flag, a huge problem.